Good. Okay. Yeah. So start over. So your brother got you into my channel?
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of a funny story because I remember I was watching. It was probably Hoan versus I forgot, but I remember I was watching a battle, and then all of a sudden I see in the recommendation side of the video it said Juan versus whoever with commentary, and I was like, interesting. Someone that analyzes popping or popping battles, and I was like, all right. I started watching. Not
Uh-huh.
gonna lie, I was like getting annoyed because you kept stopping the video and then kept talking so much. I don't know why.
Yeah, for sure. I understand. People in my real life find me very annoying, so I totally understand.
But that was kind of ignorant of me though, mainly because it's like, okay, well, he's analyzing the battle. Of course, he's gonna be, stopping the video and talking about certain things. And so I found a disinterest in your channel for some reason, and then that was probably the only video I watched, and then I strayed away from it. And then my older brother, his name's Branley. Um, he's the one.
What's up, Brandley?
Yeah. He's the one that got me into your channel. He was like, "Yeah, have you heard of Otis Funkmeyer?" I was like, "No, I haven't." And he was like, "Oh, like Tick Tick Pop is his channel." I was like, "Oh yeah, I seen his video." Like, but I was like mad annoyed for some reason. And he was like, "Really?" He was like, "Dude, I think you should watch his channel because like I learned so much from just watching his stuff." And he talked about your history of popping videos. And that's basically how it started. And I was like, oh, interesting. He talked about how the cats from Oakland, straight up, are quote unquote they could be argued as the pioneers of popping and whatnot. And basically, yeah. And I was like, all right, I'll give this dude another shot. And then so the first video I watched when I came back to your channel was it was Green Tech versus Prince. But
Ah,
yeah,
yeah,
that
huh?
time it was on your
Yeah,
first
for
couple
sure. I
channels.
went through I went through some emo shit. So
Yeah, word. But yeah, that was basically how I got into it. And then he started talking about like how he's wearing hush puppies and how that
mm-hmm.
created different kinds of footwork he could play around with, how sharp his movements and his angles were, and his technique and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, I've never looked at someone's round so thoroughly. The things you pointed out is like, look at that. You'd say something like, look at that angle. Like, that's really difficult to hit. And so you point
Mm.
it out and then you keep going. And I was like, yeah, and I fell in love with your channel ever since.
Mm.
And
Amazing.
yeah, and I just want to say real quick,
Yeah,
first of all,
yeah.
thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, like I said, I didn't think you would respond so quickly.
Sure. They say to anyone who ever sees this, and for your class, like the older I get, the more I realize the film director Woody Allen has a quote that 80% of success is showing up. And the people that are my mentors that I feel like are much more successful in life than me, they all talk about like how so much of being successful is just when somebody reaches out to you, follow up on it, follow through on it. And
Mhm.
the vast majority of people, for whatever reason, whether it's laziness or like they don't believe in themselves, and so they just feel like, oh no, it'll never actually happen, so they just, why even bother? um the other one that I'll say, this is all really cliche stuff, but the harder I work, the luckier I get. So the more
Mm.
I take things seriously, I just find that like more stuff comes my way. And I think that that's so true of popping. I've been watching Poppin' John's live streams recently, just like
Mhm.
checking him out and everything. And because of the kind of audience that he has, there's all kinds of people that are like asking him on the live chat, like, "Bro, how can I get good in the next 2 weeks?" And he's just like, "Dude, it like popping is not something that works like that."
Yeah.
And all of these things kind of like put together just lead me to, I mean, I'm just super grateful like to hear your comment. You like, you should know that I don't, I in no
Wow.
way am I thinking like, Oh yeah, you're lucky to get to watch me analyze. Like the fact that that actually is helpful for you is it really helps me to know, like why I'm doing this and that people are getting something out of it because there's what do you call it, like lashback
Yeah,
or blowback of people being like, yo, what the fuck, who are you, why are you, like, what do you know, like
yeah,
who and so it's really cool just to have people telling me that they're learning from this. And I really think, I've said this a couple of times, but I really think that the future of education is going to look a lot like this. You're going to have people that are experts on things analyzing those things while you watch them, and then
mhm,
you get to see for yourself. Like you don't need to take my word for anything, you can be like, I don't know. I don't think he's right about that. Or you can be like,
mm,
oh shit, I never thought, like, look at the angle of the hush puppy. And you can
mm,
clearly see that Prince's shoe can't make that sharp an angle. It's like all kind of wobbly or something. And that absolutely has to do with the shoes people wear. So
yeah,
I think that's like a super cool side benefit of this is that you get to watch people at a very high level of something and
yeah,
get a real understanding of what makes them be at such a high level.
yeah. Because I remember, oh, what was I gonna say? Because I remember when my professor presented this assignment to us. First of all, he was like, "All right, so you're just gonna choose a topic, and you can choose. We can write about whatever you want. It has to simulate or emulate the format of an article, essentially." Um, and then I was like, "Okay, I have no idea who I'm gonna write about." First of all, and so I decided to write about my older brother, mainly because he's very close to me. He's actually had a pretty huge impact on the dance community down in SoCal. Whether I mean
Wait, who
it's
is it?
obviously
Wait,
unnoticed.
he's in the dance scene?
Yeah, well, I mean, not super. He's not that well known.
Okay, all right, all
He's
right.
one. He's done blind freestyles. I don't know if you've seen him before. There's like a viral video on Facebook like about that went viral like last year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's really good. He auditioned for. He said he think he could dance. He got a call back,
Hmm.
but he didn't get through. Then again, a lot of people didn't get through. Yeah, he's really good. He's on Hall of Fame right now, and he's
Cool.
on Cup Modern Legacy and whatnot. But yeah, that's my older brother. He's the reason why I started dancing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't want to ramble on too much about that.
Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah,
So
like I said,
you decided to do the thing on him, and then where do I come in?
yeah. He was like, so you're gonna write about, you're gonna choose a topic, and then you're gonna pick an expert in that topic to
Uh,
interview and and write about a little bit in your paper. I was like,
yeah.
okay. So like the first person I thought of was you, to be completely honest.
Cool.
Because Brantley is a popper, and then it's like, okay,
Hmm.
one expert that you think of in that area, um, you should write
Cool.
about. I was like, all right, so I was like, okay, how am I gonna get an interview with Otis Funkmar? Like, there is no way this dude is gonna respond. I'm sure he's mad busy doing, other popping commentaries or doing whatever he wants to upload with his channel and whatnot. Um, And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna find his email. Find his email. Then I'm gonna email him. Give him my explanation, brief introduction who I am, and then send it. And then honestly, within an hour, you responded, and I was like, yo, you just you just responded, and you with no hesitation, you accepted it, which was super
You wrote a
surprising.
you wrote a good, for anybody out there. He wrote a good letter. It wasn't too long. It was really clear. It was like it seemed like a cool guy doing an interesting thing. It was like, yeah. And I think that that's, again, just some life advice. Like, the more you can be clear, you can show that, like, you're not a crazy person, either like that you don't value the person's time, or you write like your whole life story, and it's like you expect the person to read it. I think if you can avoid those two things, then a lot of that's been my experience too. Is people I never thought would ever talk. I mean, that's how look, dude. Check this one out. Here's a story. I don't think I've ever told this story. I bought one of the ways that I started dancing is with Poppin' Pete's instructional video, which was shot mostly in Santa Cruz. And this is before I really had a teacher of any kind. And somehow, I don't remember how this happened either, but I got Poppin' Pete's email address, which at the time was like poppinpete1 at AOL.com. And
Oh my goodness.
Poppin spelled like Popin. And I asked him this question, I think probably about like the old man or something, like I don't understand how the chest moves. And he was like, "What's your number?" And I was like,
Wow.
"What?" And I emailed him my number, and then like, you know, the next day like or something, I get a call. I'm living at home with my parents and everything, and
Goodness.
they're like, someone named Poppin' Pete is calling for Otis. And I was like,
Oh my.
oh my God. And I was just like, I couldn't believe it. And I talked to him for like an hour or something. And it was early. Like, this is a really good thing that's happening to you for your life, because
Yeah.
what you should be learning from this is that, you know, unless it's like the president or like Brad Pitt or something like that, people are out there and are
Mm.
wanting to help people that that need their help, or you know, and are respectful. And like, I encourage you that this is just like that you keep doing this, that you just like whoever you think of, figure out how to get in contact with them and try. I promise you, this is one of the ways in which I feel like I've been much more successful than most people I grew up with, and it's because I did this stuff too. I reached out to people. I couldn't believe it, and then I had a conversation, and all of a sudden it was like, "Oh, they're just a person. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Oh, cool." Like, oh, and they talked to me like they respected me, and they weren't like, oh, they weren't all diva-ish. And then it was like the next time I had something and I thought of a different person, I try again. And some people won't respond, but enough will, that the next thing you know a lot of like really interesting people. And then like gradually you get to be my age, and the cycle continues, and now someone is reaching out to you. And that's a huge reason why I do this also, is because people did this for me, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be a real dick thing for me to like get all of this assistance from people that I looked up to and not like give back in that same way.
Man, first of all, I appreciate the compliment on the email. Yeah, and I guess I'm just mad nervous just because,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so what
It's
keeps on
normal.
doing.
It's
Okay, I'll
normal,
try.
man. Yeah. Just do your best. I mean, it's really good. I also think, you know, I commend you also on admitting that and not trying to pretend otherwise. I think that like the best way to get over fear is to actually like say it out loud.
Mm.
That's like that's worked for me better than any other thing, because you realize, like, you know, what unconsciously some part of you, in my opinion, is realizing right now. You're telling me that you're nervous, and I'm not like, oh yeah, you little bitch, you know. I'm not, it's not like that. You know, it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's cool, man, it's cool. So let's get started. So
All right.
shoot, what do you got?
So I'll probably ask you 5 questions,
Cool. Yeah, cool.
and then throughout that, after each question, I'm just going to be typing some stuff down. I'm not going to be typing everything,
Yeah,
verbatim.
sure.
I'll be taking notes.
Yeah, man, whatever, do your thing.
Yeah. So I guess the first question I want to ask you is, um, where slash how did you get your name? Otis Funkmeyer.
Sure. um So my favorite popping name when I was getting into popping was Poppin' Pete, because I found out that his name was not Pete. His name is Tim. I hope I'm not putting you on blast, Pete, but I think that's some pretty public information. And that he had watched this TV show a lot when he was a kid called Pistol Pete, and they called him Pistol Pete. And then when he got into popping, he became Poppin' Pete. And I really liked the idea of having a name that people would think is your name, but it's not your name, right? Like my friends like Tetris and Pandora and Kid Boogie, you know that that's J Rock. That's not their name. It's like
Yeah.
obvious. But so I like the idea of having a name that's a real name, but it's not your name. I thought it was that's kind of like my sense of humor. So anyway, I was at Burger King. I don't eat food like that anymore, but at the time I was at Burger King with some friends. I was about 20, and I saw like Burger King proudly serves Otis Spunkmeyer cookies, and I
Oh,
thought it was like the most hilarious shit I'd ever seen, because it's like this old stereotypical like black guy, and it seemed like almost racist. It was so weird. The whole thing was so weird. And then of course like spunk is a slang for cum, and that was super weird. And then Meyer is like this like German Jewish kind of name, and the
yeah.
whole thing was just like, this is weird and amazing. Like I just couldn't believe it, and I just, it stuck with me. And then I was like, Otis Spunkmeyer, Otis Spunkmeyer, Otis Spunkmeyer, Otis Spunkmeyer, Otis Spunkmeyer. Oh shit, Otis Funkmeyer. Dude, that's crazy. Because so what I liked about it, you know, like when I met Wiggles for the first time, he was like, this is at his house at this thing called Backyard Book. He was like, brother, I got to be honest with you. I thought you were going to be black, you know, because I was on his message board and everything, and he was like really surprised that this is what Otis Funkmeyer looked like. And so I really like that aspect of it, because, you know, I am a white guy doing a dance that was created by pretty much not white people. And so I like this idea of taking on this stereotypically black name. And I like the name too.
It's fresh.
And then funk, you know, that's like the dance, that's the music that we
Yeah.
dance to. And then Meyer is like this German Jewish thing, and I'm German Jewish. So it has like all of these different things all in one. And I also really liked that it was very memorable. It's not like a name you forget. And it sounds like someone. You know, when you hear it, you're like, Otis Funkmeyer. I bet that person is like, does something, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like John Smith, you know, or something like that. So, yeah, so I just kind of ran with it. And then eventually, about 6 years ago, I legally changed my name to Otis Funkmeyer. So
Oh
I'm,
shoot.
I'm like fully Otis Funkmeyer now.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just figured, oh, Otis Funkmar, I know he definitely has a real name behind that.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
I had no idea you legally changed it. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah, I
that
believe in
fascination.
part of the reason, so just to tell a little story about that, I could go on and on, but I really love the idea that when I look at my passport, it says Otis Funkmeyer, and that like when I get called at the airport, they're like Mr. Funkmeyer, and like at the grocery store, they're like, when they see the credit card or whatever, they're like, "Thank you, Mr. Funkmeyer," because my this is a little bit philosophical, but my idea about life is that it's all kind of just made up, and that the more you can act like that, the more you can live how you want to live. And there's something about seeing like Otis Funkmeyer on passports and driver's license and credit that just it's a constant reminder to me that everything that seems very official and like you have to follow the rules and everything is actually just kind of made up.
Oh man, that's deep. It's crazy. I guess I'll ask you the second question
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have,
for sure.
and it is, who or what sparked the idea for you to start YouTube and do popping commentaries?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know, you must not know this at all. I bet most of the people who watch my channel don't know this. I have been on YouTube since the very beginning of like 2006. Me and this guy named Tyson, who is Mad Chad's student, really dope roboter, and this guy named Ace, who's like a really dope all around dancer. We had a group together back in 2006 called Elastic Illusion, and we were
Mm.
making dance tutorials then. And we have like 50,000 subscribers and like 50 million views and stuff. And and then our group broke up, and I had time to think about like what I wanted to do, and I realized there were not really any good, in my opinion, popping tutorials out there. And so I started this Tick Tick Pop channel, and I was just like, somebody should fucking make these, just like the basics. So if you really want to learn the real shit, because everything is so, it's all like how to dance like Michael Jackson, how to dance like Chris Brown, how to dance like
Yeah.
Usher. It's so whack. Like, and that's fine. And the people that make that stuff, they get a lot more views and whatever. But that never has really mattered to me that much. My goal was always like the big goal of my channel. I don't know if this is still like that, but like this was why I started the channel. I was like, I just want to make or help make like 10,000 hard fucking raw poppers. Dudes that are just so legit, that know the history and the styles and the musicality and the attitude and just everything. And I didn't see anybody else doing that, so I spent like 2 weeks or something just making a shitload of tutorials, and I put them up, and then I completely forgot about the whole thing. And then the next thing I know, I wake up and there's like 5,000 subscribers. This is like a couple years later or something, and I was like, oh
Mm.
shit, like the people actually were into this. And then I heard about this dude named Husky Starcraft. I read an article about him, and he had like 980,000 subscribers doing StarCraft commentaries. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? And so I watched some of his videos, and I was like, dude, this is hella entertaining. Like, I'm not into video games. I'm not a gamer or anything, but I was like,
Mm.
this guy's so into it. Like, he's so passionate about StarCraft that just listening to him, you're just like psyched. They're like, oh shit, the Protoss rush just came out. You will never. Oh. The Zergs are done. The Zergs are done. Oh, game over. Game over. It's game over. And I was like, whoa, dude, this is crazy. And I was like, this could be cool. Like, I wonder what would happen if you did this with popping. And then I just made one video, and it was Slim Boogie versus Nonstop. And this was before Nonstop ever went viral. And I was hating on Nonstop. And I still kind of hate on Nonstop, frankly. But I was pointing out, like, the lack of foundation in Nonstop's dancing. And what was funny, he commented on it like a year or two later. He's like, seems like it worked out all right for me, because he went, as we know, he went like crazy, crazy viral. And, but then many years pass, and I lost the channel. Like, I lost the password. There was all kinds of shit that happened between like 2011 and 2015 with YouTube, because they were trying to like make it Google and make it Gmail and link it this way and link it that way, and then brand pages, all kinds of stuff. And anyway, I lost the channel, and then I did all this work to like verify that it was really me that owned the channel in like early 2016, I think. And I was in Thailand, and I was like, hey, I'm kind of back into dancing again. I should make some tutorials. So I started making tutorials, and they got like 80 views, 60 views, 100 views. And this dude, Lance7, shout out to Lance7 and Mayday. These are the two biggest influences on the way that my channel is developing currently. I have tremendous respect for both of them. Lance7 was like, hey, yo, dude, like, I think you should make more of those commentaries, dude. I think you were onto something. Like, that was pretty tight, I thought. And I was like, okay, because, you know, a huge part for me of making videos is like that you're interested in it. It's much more fun to do things that people like than to do things that nobody cares about. That's my experience. So anyway, so I started making these commentaries, and people were like, it just started with like one. Like, let's say I did, one of the first ones I did was Dino versus K. It's one of my favorite battles of all time. And somebody's like, oh, dude, that's tight. You should do Guchan versus Nelson. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a good battle. Okay, I'll do that. And then the next, I do that, and then somebody's like, oh, dude, you should do Guchan versus Paris. And you should, and then somebody else is like, oh, you should do Nelson versus Slim, or, you know. And now it was like, I was like, oh, okay. And the next thing I knew, within like a couple weeks, you know, each time I did one, there were like 10 requests, and it was like, oh, shit, this is like something, this is weird. Like, people like these or something. And then I start finding out actual dancers are starting to watch them and stuff. And one of the first was my homie Dementia from Animated Beat Mechanics, which is J-Rock and Popula and Function and everybody. And he was, and I was like, oh shit, Dementia's watching this? And then he was like, one day he was like, he commented and he's like, bro, this is like, he didn't say bro, he doesn't use that word. He's like, dude, this is turning into something. This is weird. And I was like, yeah, dude, this is the weirdest thing that's ever happened in my life. Because, you know, all of us dancers, as I'm sure you know, being a dancer, what you want people to like watch you dance and be like, oh, you're so sick, you're the dopest dancer, and I've got to share it with everybody I know. And next thing you know, you have 50 million views. Like, that's the dream, right, in 2017. So it was super weird for a while that you know, nobody cared about seeing me dance, but they wanted me to keep commenting on these battles. And you know, the thing I mentioned about like getting emo was part. There was, you know, it's taken me a while to just accept that people are getting a lot of value out of these, and that, you know, it's that sometimes in life I think it's better to figure out a way to be useful and valuable to other people than to be so focused on your own ego and like what you're getting out of something. Because, you know, at some level, my ego is not totally fulfilled from making these commentaries, because it's like, I want you to look at me. And I guess at some level people are looking at me with the commentaries, but you know, the negative part of me is like, yeah, but they're only looking at you because they want to dance like Green Tech, you know. And but I think that there's a big, for me personally, there's a major maturing process of like realizing that giving back to people is ultimately a much more sustainable thing than always trying to get viral videos or something like that. So at this point, I have it figured out where I can make these commentaries without that much difficulty, and more and more I like engaging with the people watching them. I feel like more, and I see, this is the other thing. I come from an era, you tell me, actually, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
In my era, the internet was like highly nerdy. To be like on the internet was seen as kind of a nerdy thing. Is that still true in your generation, or is the internet just everything, like Snapchat, Tinder, YouTube, and it's like, bro, that's what it is the internet?
Sadly enough, I'm gonna say that becoming viral and just being seen on the internet by a couple thousand people holds a lot of value to them in this generation, from like the millennials,
Yeah, sure.
essentially.
Totally. I mean, when I was at a cafe not long ago and I was talking to all these 16-year-olds and they had their phone out, and I was just asking them, like, what apps are you on? What are you guys into? And they're like, why? What do you? And I was like, oh, I make YouTube videos and their stuff. And the first question they asked is like, how many subscribers you have? And I was like, oh, I like about 7,000. And they were like, oh shit, dude, this guy's like famous. And I was like, oh, there's like a whole new. So anyway, the point is that it's just I'm still this is like a way in which I'm an old person, like legit. Like I totally understand for the first time in my life why, like in when I was a kid, it was that your grandparents like couldn't figure out how to program a VCR, and now I think it's like that your parents or grandparents can't figure out how to use Snapchat, right? So
Mhm.
I'm starting to see that like the way things were when I grew up is not how things are now. So I'm doing my best to like unlearn how from my generation, because my everything that my generation was into, like TV and stuff, it's all dying, right? And all this stuff from your generation is growing. So I'm still just learning to kind of like be at ease with all of this and enjoy it. Oh, I know. So I was like, why am I talking about all this? So the reason is because more and more, and I really am scared that this is a nerdy thing to say, but like I can't help it. More and more I look at all of you guys as like my friends, you know?
Hmm.
And that is really motivating to me, right? Because it's like having people that care about you, you know? And I think at some level all this desire to, you know, be famous and go viral and all that is just to know that people care about, or that that people care about you. And see, what I'm finding is, and this is why I think that my channel will just continue to grow over time, is because I really care. Like I'm much more interested in the fact that you're learning, like becoming a better person, a smarter person, a more knowledgeable person, a wiser person, just you, than getting a million views. I would love to get a million views, right? I think we all would. But I think that people, the more I talk to people who watch my videos, the more I think that people feel that. They're like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
dude, this guy, like, he cares. Like he actually like wants us to be good at this thing. And like we want to be good at this thing, and most people out there are bullshitting somehow."
Yeah, I
So,
can feel
yeah.
that. All right. That was a lot to take in, but I wrote a lot of notes on this.
I know I talk a lot, dude.
No,
That's
I'm
why
good. I'm
I
good.
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I guess moving on to the
Yeah, yeah.
third question. Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Oh, you might have already answered this in one of your videos, but I
Sure.
think
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
still important for me to learn.
Yep.
So why popping? Why this style? Why didn't you choose,
Yeah,
lock,
yeah, yeah. Good
breaking, or
question.
house or
Yeah, yeah,
anything?
for sure. I just think it's like by far the dopest thing. Like still to this day, when I see people, the person for me at the moment that epitomizes this is Slim. When I just watch Slim, I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? This is crazy. Like that a person can do this is so crazy. And I see in my era, I don't know if this is still true, but in my era, it was a lot more about like the four elements of hip hop. And you got to know about your graffiti, you got to know about your dancing, you got to know about your MCing and your
Mhm.
DJing. And so because of that, there was like a lot more emphasis on knowing, maybe not more emphasis, but there was a lot of emphasis in the early stages of my generation on knowing the foundations of popping, and then knowing the foundations of locking and b-boying and house dancing. And for whatever reason, I took a fair number of locking classes and house dance classes and a few b-boy classes, but I just never, when I see people that are dope at those dances, all of the b-boying, locking, house, I'm just like, cool story, bro. Like,
Hmm.
nice. It's like when I watch ballet or tango or something. I'm not like, oh, I want to do this. I'm just like, I guess that's cool or whatever. But then I see popping and I'm like, oh my god. And I think the thing more than anything is the how tripped out the movement looks. Like it looks like a fake person, and um the musicality, the,
Hmm.
the musicality to me is just so crazy. And especially, and that's why, one of the reasons I emphasize so much about foundation on my channel is because your generation many of the more famous dancers, they have crazy musicality but no foundation. And in my opinion, when I watch that, I'm like, dude, this is actually kind of whack.
Mm.
This looks like some white girl shit of like we went to a studio and did some choreography and we memorized a song and now like watch our performance. And I think that to me one of the illest aspects of hip hop culture is the freestyle aspect, that it's like put on a beat, let's see what happens. I'll spit, I'll dance, I'll tag, whatever. And that rawness, to me, in order to have that rawness, I actually am going to make a video soon about something Poppin' John said, that's why the foundation and the technique is so important. I heard him talking about this recently, is because that's what allows you to be dope the way the white girls are dope without needing to practice your moves.
Mm.
And I think that the human soul can feel when something is real and when something is not. And that's why people hate politicians, right? And they love people. Like I read things, like I used to get comments that are like, "Excuse me, there may be children watching this. Would you stop swearing, please?" And I was like, "Fuck you." Like, because they've done studies that have shown that when people swear, people trust them more. Even if they don't
Mm.
like swearing, even if they're like religious or something, or they have some reason they don't like swearing, nevertheless, people trust them more because people see that like that's one of the main things politicians don't do, right? They never swear. Like it's people that are always trying to look right for you, for the camera. You can't really trust them because you don't really know what they're really thinking. And so I feel like the human soul can feel genuine expression when it sees it. It's like, that's real. That's real. And that is what I feel when I see someone like Slim. It's just like, or Soul, or Frantic, or something. It's just like, oh my God, this shit is so crazy. What the fuck? And to know that they're like making it up right there, and they never heard that song. They just did it. They're just doing it right there. That all that put together. And also, I think the swag. I think that popping, I personally relate most to the swag of popping in terms of the fashion and the attitude. Like, the b-boy attitude, I'm like, it's just so far from me. Like, I feel like the b-boy attitude is like Michael Jackson, like bad or something. Like, you got a switchblade and you got a headband and you're like, I'll fucking fuck you up. And locking is like, oh, I'm so goofy. Look how goofy I am. And house is kind of like, I don't know. It just doesn't. Whatever it is, it's not something I really resonate with. But popping, I feel like the dope poppers, you see them too. Not always, but a lot. It's like, damn, dude, that guy's fucking cool. Like, he just looks like, I bet he gets girls. I bet he like knows how to talk to people. I bet everywhere he goes, people just like notice. So all of that kind of put together, it like drew me in like pretty much instantaneous. I was like, once I saw it, I was like, that's all I want to do. That. I just want to do that. So, yeah.
Straight up. Man, that's crazy. Let's see. Let's move on. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. Let's see. So this is more of a two-part question, but I'll ask the first one. First one's gonna be, where do you want to see the popping community, or where do you want to see the popping community go, and where do you actually see it going?
I'm gonna say some shit that could sound really arrogant. I had my emo moment, and I stopped making videos, and then I started making them again, like the Green Tech versus Prince, for instance, and I got this message from this girl. She wrote it like a few times in a few different ways, and she was like, "I don't think you know it, but you're saving the dance right now." And I was like, whoa.
I agree.
That's crazy. Like, whoa. And I just felt, I don't know, again, I know it's not that humble, but I was just like, whoa, like I could just feel how much she felt that. Something, I don't know. You can feel things sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I think about it, and where I want to see the dance going. Here's a crazy thing. This is a really crazy thing. When I was starting to dance, the Electric Boogaloos had completely like gang takeovered the entire popping community. Like it was like full on mafioso. They just like pushed everybody out and were like, we're the real thing. Where all the other shit is whack and bullshit. I'm exaggerating a little, but only a little. They didn't say those things, but that's absolutely how it felt.
Holy crap.
Tutting's not that dope. Waving's okay, especially if your wave links into a boogaloo roll or something. Robot, that's all right. That's all right. But popping, electric boogaloo style popping and boogaloo is the real shit, right? And so that's another one of these things that's like super ingrained in my head, just like that the internet is nerdy. And what's crazy is when I make commentaries about Boogaloo Sam and Poppin' Pete and stuff like that, they're some of my lowest viewed commentaries. And I would have thought that it would be very much the opposite. Those would be like the most popular. They're like, oh, dude, now he's talking about the real shit. But what I see is that your generation, and this is the thing that's most exciting to me about your generation, is you guys don't give a fuck. You're like, whatever. That's cool. These old guy, like grandpa, is like dancing. Nice. Like, what about Dragon House? Like, that's sick, right? That's sick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Or like Twins or, whatever. Salah. Slim, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm still taking that in, but what it makes me see there is that there's an opening right now. There's an opening that doesn't happen that often. It's kind of like how here's some nerdy shit. It's like how Microsoft completely owned the computer era, right? Like 90+% of computers were Microsoft. But then Apple, there was a shift where all of a sudden your computer started more and more to be your phone. Like when you message me, you're like, I only have my phone. Is that cool? And I'm like, yeah, whatever, right? You don't need a computer that much anymore. And so Apple had to wait basically like 20 years for a generational shift to occur in technology. And then they fucking took it. They just took the whole thing from Microsoft. And now Microsoft is like not that many people. It's not that cool, especially phones. Especially like how many people does anybody know that has a Windows phone? Like hardly anybody. And it's probably some like really, really corporate business person. It's not regular people. So in a similar way, I think we're right in the middle of a generational shift with dancing, and especially how people learn dancing. And I think the main thing about that is that no one gets to control it anymore. The community, the reason I know all these people, J-Rock, like these famous people, quote unquote, J-Rock and Slim and Kid Boogie and J Smooth and Pandora and Todd and Tetris and Chad and everybody. It's like, dude, that was all of us. That's it. Those were the only people that were into popping in 2003 and 2000. We all knew each other because there were only like 20 of us or 10 of us or something. It was a very, very small group of people. Very small. And there were like 3 crews. There was Machine Gun Funk, Animated Beat Mechanics, and Funk Technicians. That's basically it. And so because of that, because it was so small, it was relatively easy, comparatively easy for the Electric Boogaloos, especially Skeeter Rabbit and Sugar Pop, to just kind of like, they were way tougher than any of us. Sugar Pop is like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter. He's like hardcore. Skeeter Rabbit will just like lift up his shirt and show you like the knife wounds and bullet wounds and shit. And like, he's like, crip. Like he did that all the time. And and you know, they not no one was that much tougher than me, you know. So like I was definitely one of the least tough people, but it wasn't like, oh, like the only tough people were like Frantic or something, you know, like the
Mhm.
people literally from the streets of Southern California. Everybody else was kind of like suburban. And my generation is the suburban generation. It's when the dance goes from highly urban to suburban and international, Japanese and French and whatever. Anyway, um, so the way that because of this, I think that the thing that I can offer is a very genuine perspective. Because at this point, I have tremendous respect for every style. I don't think any of them are better or easier or harder or more legit than any of the others. And I think that what I can offer is um, and I think this is, and the reason I think this is because this is how I think everything should be. I think this is how politics should be. I think this is how religion should be. Just everything is like, here are all the things. Here's all the things. Here's like what they actually believe. Like, this is what Muslims believe. This is what Christians believe. This is what Jews believe. And if you ask the Muslims and you ask the Christians and you ask the Jews, they'll be like, yes, that's what I believe. You know, it's not bias. It's not like you're trying to slant something some way. It's like,
Mhm.
this is tutting, this is waving, this is boogaloo, this is, you know, Oakland boogaloo, this is Bay Area styles, this is whatever, animation. And what do you want to learn?
Mhm.
Figure out what you want to learn and then take it fucking seriously. Don't bullshit it. Like, learn, put in the time to actually be dope so that people that are experts at it look at you and they're like, yo, you got it. Like, you're dope. And I think that that is where I want to see the dance go, and I think that is where it's going to go. I really actually believe that's where it's going to go. And then what I predict is that from that point forward, it'll go it'll go so weird, just like everything is so weird now. Like everything in our whole reality. Are we at war right now? Are we at
Mhm.
like what's going on in the world right now? I think it's going to get super weird because people are going to, people your age, and especially the people like 3 to 8 years younger than you, are going to grow up knowing all this stuff, all the history, all the foundation, all the techniques, and they're going to invent new dances that are so crazy. They're like, they might as well be alien dances to us. Um and so I feel like, to go back just to finish that off, that this generational shift, it's like we can either go off a cliff and like this dance can turn into like some Katy Perry shit and it's just like white girl studio stuff, or we can make it really legit, really true to how it started, because not because like we owe something to those people, which I think we do, but because it's way doper. What they do, what real people do, is dope. And what pop culture does is whack. And that's just a firm belief that I have. And I think that what you see in other cultures like Japan and Korea and France is that the real shit is the pop culture. And my goal at some level is to help that happen all over the world, that the real shit becomes the pop culture. And then from that point forward, it's like, my work here is done, and you guys take it where you want to take it now, because now there's no rules. Now, once you know all the techniques, then like this goes back to art, painting art. Like Picasso said, in order to break the rules, you have to learn the rules first. So because this like street culture has always been looked at kind of like, it's kind of racist and it's kind of classist, like,
Mhm.
oh, who cares, that's not a real thing they're doing. uh, People haven't taken it seriously. And I think once you take it seriously and you realize there's just as much technique and stuff to learn and foundation and ways to be good and ideas about it. There's the Tabo way and the bopping way and the Bay Area way and the Boogaloo way and the taco waving animation way. And once you learn those, then it's your job to add to it, to make it more, right? Because there was a time where there was no electric boogaloos, where there were no Oakland boogaloos, there was no bopping style, there was no such thing as tutting, you know. And once you understand all the existing things, I think then you have to figure out where it goes. And so that's the way I look at myself almost as like this person that you come through and then you shoot out the other side, and like you take it where you want to take it, and you know that you're doing it like the right way. And it's not because I say it, it's because it's just you can see it for yourself. I can show you Slim Boogie, and then I can show you somebody who's copying Slim Boogie but doesn't have the foundation that he has, and you'll see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think is good about the commentaries. It's like you don't have to listen to me. It's not like Otis says, you know, it's just like, bro, just look. And I'll tell you the reason that he looks like that is because of all the technique he has. It's not like something special. It's just he really put in the work. And that's what I want people to do, is to really take it seriously and put in the work and then take it in their own direction.
I have no words. Incredible, man. But yeah, that was well, I hope to remember this. I have been taking notes, but I really hope to remember all that really good knowledge that you just spewed. Um, but yeah, that's all the questions I have.
Cool.
Um,
Cool,
I
man.
do have like three requests for some hopefully future popping commentaries.
All
I
right, what do you
kind of
got?
took
What do you got?
advantage.
What do you got? Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah. So I have Jordan versus Slim.
Oh, dude, I've been wanting to do that one for so long. You know what's
Yeah.
crazy? I took my homie Sabella, who I hope to get on the channel soon. He's a hip hop dance professor now at USC, but at the time this was at UCLA. And he's super legit, like super duper legit. And I took his beginning hip hop class with Jordan like 6 years ago, and at the time Jordan didn't even pop. And then like a couple years later I see this video with Jordan in it popping, and I was like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
This guy is sick. I love that. Yeah, okay, that's good. See, this is why I consider you guys my friends, is because, like, dude, of all the whack shit on YouTube that you could have asked for a commentary on, that's
Yeah.
one of the best battles on YouTube, like in terms of like who won, who fucking
Yeah.
won that, like who got it, you know? Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
My personal opinion, I didn't think that there should have been one judge and have it be. I think there should have been at
That's
least
fair.
two more judges, but
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
you-
Yeah.
yeah. I have two more. Actually, no, I
All
have one
right.
more.
All right. You
So
got
this
it.
is Soul and Dinoy. They're both on Soul
Oh,
Bodies
dude, Dinoy is
versus.
also. Have I made a commentary of him yet? If I haven't, I downloaded like 3 or 4 Dinoy videos, and I was gonna make like a compilation, like I did with Boy Wonder,
Hmm.
and yeah, Dinoy I think is. I've been like literally a huge Dinoy fan for like 10 years at least. Dinoy's been dope for 10
Yeah.
years.
I
Like,
had no idea he's in that scene. He's in the scene for that long.
yeah. He's been in that crew. That crew's been around for at least 10 years. Because I know Todd. I remember one of the first times that I saw was like really realizing how dope Dinoy was. Todd was at my house in Maine at the time, and we were watching this Dinoy video, and they were in the same crew, Sobotics. So I don't know that battle. So yeah, I'll absolutely, dude. These are very good. These are better than most people's picks.
Actually, it's Soul and Dinoy versus
Oh,
Smurf and Jordan.
versus who and Jordan?
Yeah, Smurf. He's on Versus Style
Smurf.
with Precise. I think he's
Yeah.
Filipino, wears glasses.
No,
Yeah,
I don't know Smurf. Okay, yeah, and Precise. I also took a class with Precise different class than with Jordan. And I told Precise at the end of the class, I was like, the last time I said something like this was to Jay Smooth. Like 10 plus years ago, I said to Jay Smooth, I was like, bro, you're about to start winning like every contest in the world. Like it's so obvious that you're the best, and just like stay humble. That's all I ask.
Wow.
Just stay humble. And I said the same. Precise is the only other person I've ever said that to. And this
That's
is
high
probably like
praise.
2 years ago, because I think Precise still needs more. I didn't see. See, I was in an environment with him where he was like super comfortable, and when we had circles, he was so crazy. I mean, so crazy. But then I've seen him in some bigger battles like since then, and I'm like, oh, he looks like he gets nervous, which I understand. But okay, so Soul and Denoy versus who and Smurf? Jordan.
Jordan, yeah.
Nice. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
man.
And then Jordan versus Slim. I think you're probably gonna do that sometime in the near future since
Yeah,
you
very near future. Especially now that you just remind. I literally love that battle. That's
yeah.
literally like so dope. Like
Yeah.
everything about that battle to me is dope. And I know Slim is like not happy about it, so that's fun.
I remember reading his comment on that video and I was like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
real shit though. I mean, people don't once you're the best, people get tired of it. I'm really into battle rap, and that always happens in battle rap where
Yeah.
somebody all of a sudden comes up and they're the dopest, and then they all of a sudden everybody like accepts that they're the best, and then everybody starts hating on them. I think it's just
Yeah.
human nature. People just
Yeah.
want something new. They want something new, new, new.
Yeah, I agree. Um, this is more of a personal question. Well, not personal
Sure.
question.
All right.
It's more of a question that I kind of just thought of a couple minutes ago.
All right. All right.
Uh, who do you think the best in the world is right now?
The first answer that comes to my mind is Slim.
Okay.
But
Wow.
I could go Kite, I could go Hoan, I could go Guchan, I could maybe go Frantic. Uh, uh, for me, Pop and J and Kyo
Hmm.
and Kin. These are all maybes. I think for me personally, and oh. No, the one that I think I would be the most likely to say if it wasn't Slim is Kite. I think Kite is really superhuman. It's too
Yeah.
weird how good he is. But for me personally, I think my favorite dancer at this point is Waleed.
Okay. Just favorite dancer, not
Yeah,
just.
he's
Okay.
because I feel like at some point uh an artist can get to a point where they're no longer focused on being good. They're just focused on expression, and and that becomes more interesting to me. I think there, there's a concept of like a rapper's rapper and a dancer's dancer and a painter's painter. Like regular people may just be like, "Oh, that's cool," but when you do the craft, you see like, "Ugh, that's crazy. It's so
Hmm.
crazy what that person is doing." I also other names that have just come to my mind are Brooke and Rashad and Future. Uh,
Hmm.
and another one of my favorites, I don't think I would say he's the best in the world, but is Mr. Steen from Denmark.
Okay. I mean, I never heard of him, but I'll look up some footage of him
I
and
have
see.
some commentaries of him,
Oh, okay. I'll
and
look into those.
I'm gonna make more.
To be completely honest,
Sure.
you mentioned Waleed, and I've watched a couple of
Yeah,
his
I know.
rounds, and I'm still having a hard time trying to figure out
Yeah,
why you think he's so trill.
yeah, I it's a big mission of mine to figure out. I mean, I'm just not gonna stop until you go. I get it now. I see it. Him and Boogaloo Sam, and to a much lesser extent, Rashad, I think are three people that I get the most pushback on me thinking they're so dope. That's so crazy how good they are. And that's really interesting to me. And I don't, again, a big part of my philosophy is it's not your fault if you don't see it. It's my
Yeah.
fault if you don't see it. And um so I haven't figured it out yet. I haven't, and let's do another. Like, let me switch this in a different direction. One of my favorite dancers, also personally, is Junior Boogaloo, and somebody. I made a commentary about him, and I said he may be, when he's on, he may be the best in the world. And somebody pushed back, and they were like, "Bro, he doesn't even hit. Like, you all you talk about is how important hitting is, and this guy doesn't even hit." And I was like, I went back and I watched some videos of him, and I'm like, it's true, they're not wrong. So again, this is another one of my favorite things, and I want to, maybe let's end on this. Part of the reason that I speak my mind and put my thoughts, my honest opinions out there, is not because I think my opinions are correct. It's because by putting them out in public, I get to hear other people's opinions. And in hearing other people's opinions, I get to learn more about my own opinions, and I also potentially get to change my opinions as more information comes to me. And that, that is really the dance culture that's the culture in general. And just to focus on dance, that's the dance culture that I want to exist, is one where people are sharing their honest opinions with each other, and we all just like learn together. And just because I like something doesn't mean you have to like it, and just
Hmm.
because you like something doesn't mean I have to like it. But hopefully we can at least understand where each other is coming from. And I personally think this is exactly the thing that our culture as a world needs, with nationalities and races and religions. It's not, we don't all have to like each other. We don't all have to do things how each other does them. But I think it's important that we at least learn to understand what each other believes, and be like, okay, I get it. I get that that's what you believe. This is what I believe. That's what you believe. Okay, good. Now we know. So,
Hmm.
yeah. Okay, man.
All
That's
right.
great.
So thank you so much for spending about what, an hour with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
real quick, I just want to say I commend you for really sticking up for how you want to do your channel. You don't really conform to how, let's say, what your fans want. You just say, "Oh, this is what I want to do with my channel. This is how I'm gonna upload certain videos. This is what I'm gonna upload." Blah 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 blah. So that took, to be completely honest, that took a lot of guts. I probably wouldn't have had the courage to do that. So yeah, I just want to thank you for your time once again.
Yeah. Well, thank you
Um,
for saying that. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah,
It's very enjoyable. I have a lot of respect for you, and I'm thank you for helping me see the effect that my channel is having. I really appreciate it.
straight up. Oh, that means a lot. Real quick before we
Yeah,
end here, can
yeah,
I do a quick screenshot just for proof that I...
yeah, 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 for sure, man.
All right, gotta go.